tiny little bear looking at us, almost. Hello. Oh, I'm so excited. I haven't seen a tiny hyena cub in a very long time. I think it's just trying to wake up its mom. Look how it's trying to climb on top of its back. I don't want to move around too much in case we give it a fright now that it's starting to get a bit brave and starting to come out. So if we sit tight, I'm sure it's gonna come closer to the mother, or to the face of the mother, because he's pretty much on top of her right now. See how wary it still is. Judging by how dark it is, I would say maybe around 2 to 3 months old, not older than that. Lara, I agree with you. Isn't he or she the cutest? Such tiny little thing. I think it's still frightened, but by everything it can smell and everything that's around and everything that moves, and well, potentially just a bit wary of what we are. See, it is incredible how just by instinct this animals manage to survive. If the mother were to leave, it knows that the best or the safest place for it is just to stay inside of the den, where pretty much nothing can reach it. And the mother, I think she's just way too comfortable in that spot. And I think maybe the little one is just actually trying to come out or trying to get her to move so it can suckle, but she's having none of it. She's way too sleepy. Oh, look at that pretty face. I love those big ears. Ah, look at all those teeth. You see, just even when they're very, very small, all their sets of teeth are already there, a lot quicker than some of the other animals. Let me just update the guys that the den is actually active. Update from the Misikaya. There's 1 month one slowly coming out. If you can give me 5 more minutes, that'll be great. Thank you. I think maybe now go back in. It is crazy. The last tracks we had of Shadow were not too far from here, and it's always interesting to see just how closely they can live to one another. So all the different species of predators next to their little ones and just passing around. We've had lions walking around this area, so it just shows what a great nursery this is, because they're all pretty much, or well, it is hiding in there, and it's been safe despite all these very, very potentially dangerous animals walking around. And if they were to come across a hyena cub, I'm sure lions and leopards would not be very tolerant of them. They all fight for the same resources. They're all after the same things. So it's not a cub of something else that they want to see around, because then it means more competition for them in the future. But I think there's another vehicle that would like to come and have a look, and I think we were super lucky just having a peek of this little one. So I'm gonna make space for them, and then maybe a little bit later we'll be able to come back around and see how it's doing. So I think obviously these are the new pretty little cubs on the road, and I'm sure more people would like to see them just to get a greater understanding of just how pretty these little creatures are. But let's go over to Tayla and see what she's up to.
Didn't find my big grey elephants. They're avoiding me this afternoon, but it's fine because everything else seems to be popping out. Can't be greedy, you can't have everything. So I just got some news from Ralph. Ralph told me now that he saw Shanae, and Shanae said that she very quickly, probably about 8 minutes ago now, maybe 10 minutes ago, saw a young leopard moving between sort of Little Gowrie and Djuma, just east of the Mulwati. So as you can guess, the dust cloud that you can't see, but there's a dust cloud behind me as we're racing off to the area. We're on Cheetah cut line. We're not far away now from Gowrie Main. I can only suspect that it's our young deer Shongile. Maybe it wasn't Shadow that was seen this morning. Obviously we didn't see. I don't know if anybody had a good sighting of this particular leopard, because they said that she was moving through the thick drainage line, so it could quite well be Shongile. We haven't seen her for some time, so she may have grown to the point where she's starting to look more and more adult-like. And of course with Shadow, she's got a relatively pink nose, so I wonder if they didn't see the pink nose on Shongile and go, it must be her. But it could have been Shadow too. They could both be moving around in the area. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to go across, we're going to go through the Mulwati, and I'm going to just see for tracks, and then I'm probably going to go up and along Leadwood Road, because we know that was an old favorite spot of Karula's. So that's going to be the plan. I'm going to try and get in front of this other car so that I can have a look at the footprints myself before they get squashed. But at least she was seen though. I don't know if it would be another young leopard. I'm sure it must be Shongile. Okay, they're going that way. That's fine, we'll go this side. We're almost there. We're just about to pop out onto Gowrie Main now. So we need to be very, very careful. Oh, Ali's asking about it now. Ali, I don't think anybody is on lock with her. Shanae just had a brief visual. I'm here now. I'm a Cheetah Cutler. I'm on Gowrie Main going back towards the Mulwati. I'm going to take Leadwood and check this side. I don't know if you maybe want to check Twin Dam side. So Ali and I think are going to work together again. It's the best way to try and find animals. I don't know if she got my message. Just chatting. No negative, there is no sighting as of yet, so you're more than welcome to. I'll have a scratch around here then. Yeah. I just heard some birds, or Mike's calling me now. Standing by, Mike. Negative, they said young female leopard walking around this area. So I'm just going to go up Leadwood now. I'm just quickly updating everybody about what's going on. And I'm also, of course, checking here for tracks. There were some birds shouting, but it could have just been a prunier making a bit of a racket. Maybe for a raptor or something. It doesn't sound like they were shouting leopard, leopard, leopard. But let's just check very, very carefully through here. I'm just going to turn this radio off now. Make sure I also can't see anything walking up the road in the distance. I promise I'm not going to spot piles of sand this morning, even though I seem to be quite good at that. I have a really good feeling that if we just constantly go up and down here, just check a bit of Leadwood, come back, go up and down Gowrie Main, go through the Mulwati, check Baboon Pan, Twin Dams, we might actually have some luck. Have I missed my turn off? No, it's still coming up. I thought that I'd now missed a Leadwood Road, but I was actually a little bit further back on the road than I thought. We won't rush it. It's so interesting. The leopards are giving us a slip. Pesky spotted cats. At least you got spotted hyenas though, and I'm sure you're all happy to see an active hyena den. And come meow out onto the road. We're actually talking about that since I was actually a little bit further back on the road than I thought. We won't rush it. It's so interesting. The leopards are giving us a slip. Pesky spotted cats. At least you got spotted hyenas though, and I'm sure you're all happy to see an active hyena den. It's always quite nice. Come, Shongile! As if she's going to now respond to the sound of my voice and come meow out onto the road. We're actually talking about that since I was actually a little bit further back on the road than I thought. We won't rush it. It's so interesting. The leopards are giving us a slip. Pesky spotted cats. At least you got spotted hyenas though, and I'm sure you're all happy to see an active hyena den.
On the top side of the Mulwati is not far from us, so if she does decide to come in this direction, maybe we'll see her, or we could pick up any tracks. But I think she's just being a bit shy. I wonder what it is today with all these pretty girls that are walking around and they're almost letting us see them, but not. I suppose that is the true beauty of leopards. You never know what you're gonna get with them. So we are going to carry on down this road and hopefully we'll be able to get across to Chitwa. We did say at the beginning of the drive that Craig is desperate to see a crocodile kill. So we are guessing that is probably the best place to go and try and see one. But of course, in the meantime, we're also checking around the area, trying to help Tayla, see if maybe we see anything on our way over there. Because the area where Shongile, or a young female leopard, was found, we're not too sure which one yet, was pretty much on the outskirts of the roads that we're going to be taking to get there. So I am hoping maybe we'll be lucky and we'll see a leopard in the middle of the road. Why not? Here's to dreaming. See, I'd like to know leopards retract their claws and how does that work. So they don't have to consciously retract their claws. It's all pretty much done by muscle action. So if you can imagine, if their claws are here, when they're trying, it's like when you apply pressure, then you can almost feel the pull in your tendons. It's almost the same with the leopard. So when they go like this, then you can feel that something's coming out, and that's exactly what they do. When they apply force, then the claws will come out, but if not, then they're gonna be back inside, and that is their normal position. That's their comfortable. So they're not actually making any effort in keeping the claws in, and then, well, clearly they've got special segments, special like little openings that where the claw goes back in, a place where it fits perfectly. If you've got any dogs or any cats, and if you just like grab them here in the middle of their paw and you push, you will see how the claws come out, and you'll see that there's a little sheath of skin around that forms like the entry to where the claw normally gets tucked away. So all of the cats and all of the big African cats that we've got around here, they are able to retract their claws, and that's why when we're looking at footprints, and I believe Tayla showed you guys footprints of Shadow earlier on, you won't see the claw marks in the sand. But for example, with cheetahs, they're a bit of a in-between mix. Although they look very much like a cat, they are classified in a family of their own, and they cannot retract their claws, so they're a bit more like a dog in that regard. So they have a very small leeway of pulling the claws in and out, and the cheetahs, they do this for traction. So obviously if you've got your nails on the floor and you've got to run very fast, if you're able to grip onto the floor better with your claws, and it's easier for them, especially if they've got to, you know, run very quickly or change direction or anything else. Whereas for the cats, they will normally use them when they go hunting or when they go climbing trees, so they don't have to have them outside all the time. Alright, let's see what's going on. We carry on down this road. I believe from the radio that maybe things are going a bit better for everyone involved. Goodbye, hornbills. And then we're gonna carry on and see if maybe we can see again this crocodile kill all the way to Chitwa Dam. Hopefully we will. Sorry Megan, I believe there is a question from Strawhead, something about claws, but unfortunately I didn't get to hear it, so if you could repeat it for me, that would be great. Almost the same, they do retract their claws. I believe, however, that Tayla might have some very good news for us, so let's quickly shoot across to her and see if we can see some spots.
Look who we've got, look who we've got. Now, I think it is little Shongololo. If it is, she's grown a whole lot. She has quadrupled in size. Actually, I'm not sure because I haven't seen them for so long. Who do you think? I think I'm going to have some help here. I think it is little Shong. Or are you Hosanna? Oh my goodness. I can't even tell anymore. It's been such a long time. But maybe you can help me. Hashtag Safari. No, it's Hosanna. It's Hosanna. What are you doing here? Where's your sister? It is too. It is our little fella. Is it Hosana or could it be Thamba? Now this is I've never seen what Thamba before. Because I'm just trying to think now. Maybe we can get some help. I think I'm going to need some assistance. Megan, what are all the wonderful viewers saying? Because they know these animals much better than I do. I don't get to see the spotted cat. Everybody's thinking, you're thinking just as hard as I am. All I know is that I'm super excited to, of course, to have a sighting with a leopard. It's been quite some time. Actually, I think this face is Hosana's face. I haven't seen him for quite some time though either. He just looks a lot like his father here. But I shall wait for your confirmation, just to confirm exactly. But how beautiful is this cat either way? So lovely, isn't it? And so close. So as we came past here, I think that's what those birds were complaining about. I think that they had seen him from a distance and were shouting, and we did stop and listen. And we could have completely driven right past him, especially if he was sitting in some of this long grass. He's completely invisible. But now our only problem is that he isn't here on our traverse. He's on a little gari at the moment. So let's hope that he decides to stay put where he is, or he comes north or even further east and then crosses on to an area that we can view him on. But this is really, really nice. Megan, do we have any answers just yet, or is everybody just as confused as I am? It's a tough one. It is a tough one, isn't it? Because I've never seen Thamba before. I've seen a couple of pictures of him, but I haven't really, well, yeah, I mean, I suppose it's a bit difficult. I'm going to look on my mobile device while all of you also search. I'm going to get a picture of Hosana very quickly and have a look at it. So he's got 2 blotches and a spot on the right side of his face. And he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side of his face. Maybe it's Thamba. Maybe it's my first time. Maybe those tracks that were seen this morning around Shabamu. Perhaps it is Thandi.
No.
Okay, that's interesting. So I believe you're all asked. Well, you've started a Twitter poll. Thank you very much, Megan, for that, and Chantel. So we're trying to figure out if it is Thamba or if it is Hosana. I'm just trying to think now. He's not particularly large, but we will have to just wait and see. I'm stumped now. If you guys are all stumped, you make me very nervous, because you guys sit and we see these leopards more than I do. Obviously, I only get to see them when I'm on safari. However, you are lucky. You get to watch the entire show. So whichever lucky presenter is the one to get the cat, you still see it either way. So please help us out over here. I'm trying to think. It actually makes more sense if it is Thamba, because of those adult leopard tracks that we have had in the area. That makes sense. It must be Mom searching for something to eat. Yeah, Michelle and Natasha, you've both said big ears, so you say it must be Thamba. I'm starting to think that it is more likely to be Thamba, purely just because of the whole situation that's going on again with those female leopard tracks in this area. And we have seen for the last 2 months now, since Karula's disappearance, we've been seeing young male leopard tracks as well as adult leopard tracks moving around on Mamba, on Cheetah Cutline, on Leadwood, and we were stumped. We couldn't quite work it out who it is. So it is evident that Thandi and Thamba are slowly starting to creep further and further into Karula's old territory, and it's perfect. It's a perfect spot. If somebody can come and fill this void that we now have, well, I think it should be one of Karula's offspring, even an older girl, to potentially just rule the roost until Shongile is old enough to hold a territory of her own. So this is quite exciting. I think I agree with you. I think this is Thamba. I think he's a little bit smaller. Hosana is a lot stockier of a leopard, and now that you think about it, he's quite dark around the eyes. He's got the most gorgeous green eyes, and he has got big ears. They do look a little bit out of proportion. He's creeping around. Look at them though. I don't know if he's maybe watching where he puts his feet because of all the different thorn trees, the buffalo thorns and the knob thorns. There's lots of small ones growing around here. Or if he's maybe looking to catch a bird. But look at that beautiful light. How cool is this? Yes, go team, go. You know, we really couldn't do anything without all of you, all the viewers that are watching. So I just want to say a big thank you for all the hard work that you put in with helping us ID these animals, and, you know, finding out information about things that we perhaps don't know, always sending us articles. I can tell you right now, it does not go unnoticed. We take everything that you send us, and I always look at it, and I know that the rest of the presenters do exactly the same thing. So thank you so much. And I think we're going to go with Thamba here. So that's good news for us. Potentially we could see a second leopard pop up. So how exciting is this? I am so happy right now. We're going to have to just hold our spot for the moment. We are in a very awkward sort of position. We obviously want all the cars to have a good view of the leopard, so we'll just take the back seat for a bit, because we did have a very, very nice front on view. Now, he's not particularly skittish, but he does definitely watch the vehicles as they move around. He sort of crouches down in the long grass when we move about a bit. What a gorgeous boy. I hope that you're all excited just as I am, because, you know, we've put in so much work over the last few days in trying to find cats, and we've been lucky with the lions. Ali has had phenomenal luck with her return to Safari Live, and Tristan, he always brings the cat luck with him. Those two, they're fantastic. They're the cat whisperers. And Brent also, well, he seems to be the lion whisperer of Kenya, but I haven't had a decent leopard sighting. The last one I had was Hosana, and it took us much patience, in order to, of course, see him. Would you like me to go a little bit forward for you, Sebastian, to get that? Are you happy with that? So what we're going to do is I'm just actually going to edge slightly further forward. Luckily, Sebastian's now twisted all around. He's just about sitting in the front row with me now. Come on. Now Wendy decides that she's not going to work. Don't you do that, Wendy. I'm going to pull off here in case anybody else needs. How's that? Is that a little bit better? It's just very awkward where we've positioned. Otherwise, what I can do is I can do a full turn around, if that will help. Do you want to do that? Okay, give us 2 seconds. You can see there's other cars. We're going to do it. We're going to actually just turn around and drive forwards into the sighting. Right, it will take us 2 seconds or 2 shakes of a lamb's leg. That's probably easier. Oh, here are his tracks too. Beautiful tracks. He's got big feet. He doesn't have small leopard feet, I'll tell you that. Those big ears match his big paws. Ha ha! Now, where did you go? There he is. Just find a nice little gap for you. That should be alright in there. Just a little bit further forward. I'm not doing a good job. How's that?
Good, yes.
There we go. That's better. There he is. Now, Katie, you're wondering if Thamba is older than Hosana. No, he isn't. He is younger, if I'm not mistaken. I'll still remember when... I don't remember when Thandi had her cubs, but I do definitely remember a couple of sightings, the very lucky sightings that Jamie had when Thandi still had 2 cubs, and the royals were a couple of months older than this lot. But I've never actually seen this young fella, so I'm uncertain as to how old he is. I don't know why I'm thinking he's just over a year. I think maybe he's just a year now. A year and a month, a year and 2 months, something like that. But what you might be thinking is Votumi is much older than Hosana. He's the oldest out of the leopard cubs that we sort of get to see. And he's not a particularly large leopard at all. So that's it. So it's Votumi, then it's Hosana and Shongile, and then we've got Thamba, and then we've got Shadow's little cub slipping in just after that. But this is fantastic. I'm so happy. Now, he's of course still relying on Mom to catch him delicious treats, and Thandi seems to be a fantastic hunter. The day that she caught an adult waterbuck, that is impressive. So he gets to have good meals too, and it's important for a young boy like this that he gets as much nutrients as possible because, well, without them he's not going to reach his potential size. And I'm just trying to think now. I wonder who the suspicions are as to who the father is, because in this area it could be Tingana, of course. That's probably the closest assumption as to who would be his father. Maybe even Quarantine, but I don't think so, because Thandi doesn't really venture too far further south and east into Quarantine's area, and I think it's a bit too far for the Anderson male to come out this way. So I'm going to have to say that most likely the most possible father for the of Thamba would have to be Tingana, our resident boy. But you know that this was the same spot. It's, you know, it's almost brought deja vu to me. The last time that I saw Karula was right around here, just behind us, just off Leadwood Road, and our dear friend Hosana was actually sitting just on the side of the bank here. He was resting, and that was the last night that I saw Karula. I think she was seen the next day, just off in Little Gari. So oh, hang on, he's moving off. Let's tricky. In case he does disappear into the Mulwati, we are going to lose him. Like I said, he's not on our traverse. So if other cars do come into the sighting, they're going to have to take preference. But let's see, maybe he pops out again. So I'm always a little bit sad and sensitive when I come around here and I see leopards again. It brings back fond memories, of course, because it was a great last sighting that I had while we were doing the cannon testing. It was really nice. She was trying to hunt a scrub hare. Okay, are you gonna go? Don't go down there. Come back, Thamba. Come back. No, I think we still got a good spot here. No, it's very difficult. I'm hoping he's just going to crawl back to the edge of this bank and give us another view. Now, Vicky, you're wondering if leopard spots are just like human fingerprints. They are indeed. Each pattern on all the animals out here he is completely unique. What has he seen? He's seen something. Look at that crouch, that movement. I don't know what he's spotted. Perhaps he's stalking Homo sapiens on the cars, which would be a little bit too big for him. He might feel a bit brave now that he's sitting up on this ridge, because he's higher than all of us. Or he's seen a squirrel or a mongoose or a bird or something like that in the trees. But this is quite cool. I like this little view that we've got of him. But yes, Vicky, so those spots are all unique, and they sort of only really spots around his face and on his neck. But as you start going further and further down to his body, they develop into the rosettes. So just slightly different. The darker patch on the outside, the black, and then you've got that brown color right in the middle. You can see that quite nicely over there. But cheetahs have got solid spots, and so do hyenas. Spotted hyenas, they've also got the solid spots on them. Oh my goodness. We have to show you something very quickly. I really want to be naughty and show you all the cameras that are on the car. There must be about feels like there's 500. Look at that. Just quickly look at the lenses. Now the sound, that's maybe why he's so curious, because all he's hearing is from all. Actually, listen, can I have a listen? This is really entertaining. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Listen. Those are all the cameras. Look at all the cameras. They are having the greatest sighting of their life, I can tell you that right now. It's not every single day that you get to have, well, even more than an eye view of a leopard. He's just higher than eye level with that vehicle, so that is really cool. They must be getting a great opportunity, great photographic opportunity. This is absolutely wonderful. My day is made. My jaw is sore from smiling. Ellie's still searching around. She's got herself back onto Philemon's cut line. I'm wondering if she's still looking for that female leopard.
Well, yes, definitely still looking for anything that might come our way. Very happy we managed to see some spots for the day. They were proving to be slightly elusive, but very happy we got them, or that Tayla and Rex, I believe it was, managed to find them. Good spotting on their behalf. So very happy that, yay, we got one. I keep seeing all sorts of leopard bushes all around the way. So, you know, there's a log that looks like shadow, there's a patch of grass that looks like shadow. So unfortunately we couldn't make our way all the way to Chitwa Dam just because the leopard sighting was right in the way, and clearly we didn't want to go and disturb anyone. We just want everyone to be able to enjoy the sighting. So we've come back to the area where we had Shadow's last tracks, and we're just going to see onto the other side of the drainage line. Perhaps she'll come somewhere around there, not too far. I do find it interesting though that I think Tingana was seen about 2 nights ago, roughly doing the same trajectory, taking the same route. So it'll be interesting to see. There are some guys that have also stopped for drinks at Treehouse Dam, so if she does decide to go back there and have a bit of a drink, I'm sure they'll be able to let us know. Whoop! Lots of branches on the road. So yes, it is very typical for leopards to go into, you know, where the temperature is slightly cooler. That's the road that I want to take. Maybe it leads to other places. And hang on. Alright, now we're talking. We'll see if maybe we can catch her somewhere along the lines over here. Maybe see some tracks coming out this way. Because the chances are that she carried on moving, or you know, I have a strong feeling that she'll be just waking up soon enough. I mean, all of the animals that we have seen have started to move around, so this is quite a good area for her to be in. As you can see, it's getting a bit thicker, lots of good hideouts, places where she can just spend the day and it'll be harder to spot her. So if I were a leopard, I reckon I would be in between trees right now, just enjoying a bit of a nap. What would you guys do if you were leopards right now? An owl? No. Nick, leopards' life expectancy varies, obviously depending if they're in the wild or if they're in captivity, but I think the record for leopards in the wild is about roughly 20 years or so for females. I believe that it's slightly less than that. I would say maybe 15 to 18 for a female, and male slightly less, maybe about 15 or so, just because, well, they've got different life expectancies because they tend to, sorry, I just want to have a look at this, but they seem to be rather hyena tracks and not leopard tracks. So they have different life expectancies because they have males tend to be a bit more feisty, fight over for territories, just be in areas where they can have a few more females to mate with, so they are always fighting a bit more than the females. But I would say in general in this area they have quite a high life expectancy. I want to say Safari, the leopardess. I think she lived to be quite an old leopard, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's what Tristan has told me from the leopards that used to be in the area. But if you guys have records of any other leopards that have lived for longer, please do send them. Just as a way for me also to learn from you guys, which is always quite exciting, just of who's been around, because I think some of you guys have been around here longer than me. So I really do want to get your input, and you know, just we can carry on learning together. Aaron, if you were a leopard, you would go hunting. That's a fair call. I think you would have to walk a little bit though, because I haven't seen too many impala. So which is it, or you know, just smaller things. But you know, if you were a leopard, you could also just go hunting for little scrub hares like the one we saw earlier at the beginning of the drive that ran past. So it depends if you're very, very hungry, or you know, you just want a bit of a snack. So if you just want a bit of a snack, you know, a small cheeseburger, maybe that's the equivalent of a scrub hare. Or if you were very, very optimistic, you could potentially go for the animals that we have in front. I have seen only once though a female leopard bring down a female kudu, like the ones that are around. But more often than not, males will be able to bring down the youngsters. Hello. There are lots of little things around here. Well, not lots of little things, but there are 2, 3 younger ones and then 2 females. I think the oldest one is the one that's closer to us, that is the one that we're looking at. So I would say maybe a fully grown female kudu. It's a potential prey size for a very big leopard. Something maybe the likes of Anderson male leopard, if you guys follow the leopards around the area. I think he was seen with the kill not too long ago. And also down in the south, we used to have a very big, mean leopard called Chauvonikela, and he was also known for hunting kudus every now and again. Somebody's looking at us with a very curious face, very big ears pointing in our direction. I wonder what we sound like to kudu. Maybe it's just a bit blub. Who knows? Turtle Walker, you'd like to know what language we use to give names to the animals that we see around. So it depends on quite a different number of things. So a lot of the names that we use in English, they have some sort of Latin or Greek base, and that's how they've come up. But if not, just to call them around in general as a species, and we won't name them, you know, Tom, Jerry and Petunia, there'll be just kudu for us. So when you start guiding, you have to learn some of the names in the language of the local tribe to be able to call them. So a kudu would be a nongo in Shangaan. And we could either call them nongo, mafazi nongo, if you want to call them a female kudu, or a madora nongo if you want to call them a male. Pretty sure that my Shangaan is not 100% correct in terms of the use of mafazi and madora. But in broad cases, if you ever speak to a guide and you use those words, they'll be able to understand you. Otherwise, a particular word kudu, I'm not too sure where it comes from. I'm sure it's got some sort of ancestry and describes something. As we've been saying today, a lot of the names for the different species of animals that we have around here describe a specific characteristic, and they're a mix of words. But I'm not too sure where kudu comes from, actually. Maybe it's something relating to their size. Or maybe their beautiful stripes on the side. Or the fact that they are a very big antelope that manages to hide just behind a few bushes. You see, the function of those stripes that we see on the side is just to break the general body pattern. So you see, it's very hard to see the shape of the animals once it goes in behind the bushes, and that is exactly what they need those shapes and those stripes for. Because if you can imagine a lion looking at them or seeing behind the... Well, that's very gracious of you. The animals or predators looking through the bushes, they won't be able to spot the general body of the animal, so it's a bit harder to see them. I'm gonna see if maybe we can find something else around this area. We'll carry on looking for spots, but in the meantime, let's go to the spots that Tayla's managed to find.
I still am in such awe at the moment of this beautiful cat. I actually came back to work saying to myself, right, if there's any time to see Thandi and Thamba, it has to be this sighting, because I've waited long enough to see them. And he is a beautiful cat. And it's because, my goodness, I have never seen a leopard pose like this before, staring up into the tops of the trees, the afternoon light just catching the corner of his eye. It really is a photographer's dream, and positioned up on a bank, so everybody's looking up towards him. I can tell you right now, you don't get to have many sightings like this. What we're going to do now is we're actually just going to zoom right out, because Mike needs to squeeze past us. There are a couple of other cars that want to come in, so we're going to play musical cars now. Mike's going to just sneak around us, and then I'm going to take his spot, and then the car behind us is then going to pull in, and we'll all sort of shuffle in along the train. But we'll just let that happen. We don't want to have too many cars moving around at the same time. So once Mike is further enough back, then we will slide down. So I think what we're actually going to do is we're going to do this. Watch out for this thorn tree. We're just going to roll into the sighting now. Hi. Oh, I'm so excited. This is so amazing. Now I just hope. Yes, this is fantastic. Look at that. Look at, now you can see exactly what I was talking about. So this is the view that the very spoiled photographers got to see. Isn't that great? Oh, now I need to actually put the car in low range so that it sits better. There we go. Otherwise I'm going to roll down the hill. We don't want that. Hey, Sebastian.
He's looking at you.
Is he looking at me?
Doing?
Probably going, Tayla, I'm pretty sure once that car's not on, it's not supposed to be moving. Sorry, young man. And I just want to have a look what this looks like. I put my light on slightly because I know that everybody taking pictures will probably appreciate this just a little bit. I'm just going to angle that slightly. I don't know, did that do anything? Just a little bit.
But it will just now.
It will just now, exactly. I just put one of the LED lights on just to sort of create a little bit of light because that sun is now gone behind the horizon and it's going to start to disappear quite quickly. But what a regal prince he is. And of course he's also royalty. He comes from the same lineage as Karula, so it's only fair that he joins the, well, a special moment with the royal family too. Young man, but you're only a cousin. Look at him. He is absolutely gorgeous. Now, sadly, you all know that we're not going to be able to sit here forever because who wouldn't want to come to a sighting like this? So we will have to move out in the next few minutes just to give everybody else a turn and ensure that we all get a sighting. And of course, we have to do this. As much as I'd love to sit here for hours and hours on end, it's very important that we keep on good terms with all the other guides out here. And by doing that, it means that we also can't be selfish. We've got to let everybody have a chance. The leopards on our side have been quite scarce lately. That's a beautiful shot, Sebastian. I think I'm with the best cameraman. Now, Grandma Kathy, you're wondering, what is the largest size prey that this leopard can hunt? Well, Kathy, at this age, I don't know if his skills are going to exactly be fine-tuned to even take on something like a daker. I reckon, if anything, at the moment, he'll be catching terrapins, he'll be catching squirrels, and even dwarf mongoose, and maybe a couple of birds here and there if he's lucky enough. So he's still learning, he's still very inexperienced, but eventually, once he's fully grown, he'll be able to take something down to the size of a female waterbuck, which is very impressive. Look at those gorgeous big paws. Now, that's all that Jamie ever talks about when she tells me all her stories about Thamba. She says one of her favorite things are his big ears and his big paws. And like I said, we saw his tracks just a moment ago on the sand. I'm so sorry I didn't show you them, but we can always try and go back and have a look. They are large. They look like they're the same size in the ground as Bosana's tracks, and he's older. What a beautiful cat. I can angle this a little bit more. How great is that? That's so nice. Right, we're going to have to pull out of the sighting. I want to give everybody a fair opportunity to have a look here, but I hope that you enjoyed this special time we've spent with young man Thamba. Ali seems to be getting a little bit on the chilly side as she's put her winter woolies on. Let's go and make sure that she's keeping nice and warm.
Very warm indeed. So I've managed to put one jersey, the scarf, and the jacket, and I think I still feel... I don't feel good enough, but I reckon in the morning I'll have to put way more layers just to try and keep warm. Right, let's see where this road might take us through. We have had no luck with Shadow's tracks. I believe she is still somewhere. The block is quite big, so I'm pretty sure she's somewhere still in there. It is getting a bit dark, so I'd rather not go in there walking, just because, well, you can imagine walking into a leopard in the dark is not really how I'd wish to to end it, if I can say it like that. But I think maybe let's go over there and have a look at one of the most spectacular trees in Djuma. Definitely, it's funny how in some areas you'll find the same trees all over, very common species of trees, and then all of a sudden you go just to the property next door and then they'll have things that are just very different. But again, it's always good to see different things. It just keeps your knowledge and keeps your mind at ease, and often you'll be like, I know you, but what are you really? So that's normally what goes through my head whenever I'm driving. I'll be, you know, counting the trees and being like, oh, you're this, you're this, you're this, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, I don't know what you are. But here in front of us, the almighty, the super famous, the gorgeous, very pretty torchwood. Now, this tree is particularly important all around this area, especially at dusk when the sun starts coming down, and the reason for it is because it produces a fruit. Let's see if maybe we can find a bit of a fruit. It almost looks like, I want to say, a lychee. So very elongated little fruit like this, and the elephants love it. They also eat it as much as well, I don't think they love anything as much as marulas, but this tree is also a good one for them to eat. And it's a very oily, very nutritious fruit, and they absolutely adore it. So I just want to show you guys before we are out of light. Maybe I can find the fruit somewhere around here. If not, it'll give you an idea of just how small I am in comparison to any possible tree around here. I don't think I can find any. Are you a fruit? No, you're not a fruit. Well, no luck with the fruit. I think the elephants must have eaten them all, but the fruit is about this big normally. And the reason why the tree behind me is called the torchwood or the green thorn is because you can light the seed. So if you just peel the top a little bit and then you burn it with a match or pretty much anything you can find to make fire, then you can just keep it and it will burn very, very, very slowly. So in a lot of the local areas, they use them pretty much as candles because they burn very, very slowly, and they have quite a pleasant smell once it starts burning. However, not too many things eat the branches of the tree. You see, is one of the trees that's pretty much been untouched all around. Also, I don't think any elephants are able to get up there. Sadly, we don't have here elephants like the ones you get in some parks of Zimbabwe and Manipals. Well, they'll either go like forward and then stretch themselves and try to get to the leaves. I think maybe the only creature that will try to do that nowadays with a tree this big is probably a giraffe. So they'll tilt their head and you'll see their tongue sticking up all the way up there. I think, however, this is a bit too high for everyone, which means that they haven't been eating it all that much. But again, very important tree for all the humans. I'm just trying to find where all my cables are now. Because we tend to use it quite a bit. So we use it mostly for light, which, as you can imagine, in some rural areas where it's tough to find light, and if you've got a torchwood tree, then it's a very good thing to see. But alright, this one in particular is, I think, the biggest one that you can see around Djuma, and it's definitely one of the most beautiful individuals around. James, you'd like to know which of the tree species has got the shortest lifespan? That's an interesting question. I'm not too sure. I would say probably it's area dependent. So in areas where you've got a lot of elephants, particularly if it's trees that are very soft, their bark is soft or very full of fiber or very sweet, those are trees that the elephants will probably get into and not let grow. So that's why I would say that it's, the shortest lifespan. Also, we've got trees, for example, like the nump thorns, that the wood is not as hard, and the marulas and the false marulas, the wood is not as hard, so it's easier for a lot of beetles to just start digging holes into the trees, and then that starts kind of wearing down the tree. But I would say it's interesting because recently when I was in Zimbabwe, we went through a very beautiful area in the southern part of Manipals National Park, and you see there are some old palm trees, very, very tall palm trees, most of them lala palms all around. And you see them, but you don't see any new ones anywhere around. So you can just see the older ones, and the reason for it is because up to, I think, maybe 40 years ago, that park was inhabited by people. So like in a lot of areas, once they decided to make the national park, that all of the people were relocated, but the people would plant and look after the palm trees. However, now that the elephants are free roaming all around the area, because the shoots in the new smaller trees are so small, they just pick them up and they eat them straight away. So they don't even actually let the plant get big enough to then become an adult, if we can put it that way, in terms of tree life expectancy. So I think it depends. I don't think there's one that will last. I think we do have some trees that we know of that last very, very long. We'll have the leadwoods and the zebra woods and the beautiful big sequoias and in North America, which I would love to see one day, and probably try and hug while I'm at it. But I think in general, it depends on where they are in soil conditions. I don't know if there's one particular species of tree that is more prone to dying off than others. I would have to get back to you on that one, but it would definitely be an interesting question. Because I think what's very cool at the moment is that there's this trend, and there's a lot of research being done about how trees communicate, how they grow, if they sleep, if they don't sleep, if they're aware of what's happening around them. And now that we've got a lot more technology, then we can see actually what's happening. So I don't know, I'll have to look into it to see if there's one species of tree that actually dies off quicker than some of the other ones. So while I think about that, why don't we go back to Tayla and see if she's managed to find more spots.
I'm so excited. I'm just so excited. I have to stop right now. You don't understand. That has been a leopard sighting that I've been waiting for such a long time. It has been absolutely ages since I had a decent leopard sighting, so I wanted to show you a picture, because just before as we were leaving, I quickly took a picture, and that's my favorite one of Thamba, and I feel like it describes his personality oh so well too. Look at that, tongue out, beautiful big eyes, big ears. What a beautiful cat. I'm so excited. Like I said, it's been ages since I've actually photographed a leopard. The last leopard I photographed was that impala sighting we had with Hosanna right in front of WildEarthTV Lodge. That was it. So now I can have some leopard pictures to go with it, and I hope that you also took many screenshots, and I hope that you savor them, because wowee, that is a stunning cat. You know, like I said, I'd seen pictures of him. I didn't really even have any idea as to how big he was going to be, because pictures don't really do it justice, but he's growing into a fine young man. So, how wonderful. I don't even know what to say. I'm never speechless. There's very few times where I am speechless. I never stop talking. But now we want to find Thandi, and we want to find Thandi to go with that. And I've just broken my monitor. No, it's coming back on. In my excitement, I switched it off, but it's coming back on now. So let's check. We're on just about to pop out a tree house. Ooh, apparently the gremlins don't want me to find Thandi. They're attacking, so let's very quickly go back aboard to Ali.
Oh, hello, you've got us right where we were trying to put the infrared on. So I'm just going to wait a few minutes just to make sure that I don't lose Craig, because, you know, I know Batman's got all superpowers and everything else, but I don't know if you'll be able to have the superpowers on a bumpy road in southern Africa. Maybe we should actually make it a challenge and go really fast and see how well you can hold on to. He's not looking too impressed right now. I don't think he wants me to do that. But maybe we can always try. So we're just gonna wait around here and see if maybe we can find another interesting species of tree. There are quite a few, but I think the light is just starting to fade away. So I'd rather show you guys tomorrow morning when it's nice and bright and we can really appreciate the colors of the beautiful trees and everything else that we've got around us. For now, I think it's good for us actually to stay around and not move, because we're not too far from the general area. Maybe we'll hear shadow calling, maybe Tingana. It would be nice to see one of the leopards just all around here, and you know, just letting us know that they want to be seen. We're gonna carry on fighting with the infrared. I'm sure Batman is doing a very good job and as quick as he can. But while we sort this out, let's go back to Tayla and see if she's actually got her infrared on.
We're still waiting for Opa to come and weld a new bracket onto our cameras. Remember, we've just got new cameras for the Djuma team. Quite nice, so we had to redo everything that was done on the old cameras, and of course this sometimes takes a bit of time. So until Opa comes back from his holiday, we will only be getting our infrared bracket then. But it's fine, we've got lights, we've got a camera, and hopefully we're going to have some action. Well, we've had all the action already, to just, you know, have a little cliche there. So hopefully, before I got rudely interrupted by the gremlins, hopefully if we search here now, off you go, little scrub here, we'll be able to maybe spot Thandi. I'm just trying to think. It only makes sense now. and Thamba kept sort of staring into the far distance towards sort of twin dams. So I think he knows which direction she went. And so we'll go to the last tracks that we had and we'll do a couple of loops. But we are going to check along here as well, because I suspect that she'll be around here somewhere if we just search hard enough, and if we're at the right place at the right time. That also definitely helps. But I'm feeling so lucky today. Oh, I've had many quiet drives in the bush. I don't know when I had an action-packed drive like this, with literally just around every single corner there was an animal. And I haven't had to talk too much nonsense this afternoon, which is actually a little bit of nonsense, but not as much as I normally sort of talk and tell you all weird stories and things like that. Another thing that we could try and do is potentially try and find that civet game that we had a quick view of last night. I'm almost certain it's the same civet that Tristan saw. So I think if we just spot it from a distance and we switch off, it will actually be quite comfortable. You see, giving each other a fright around the corner is not going to benefit either one of us. So we'll try that as well. Have a look around there and see if it does pop out. It must be just resting in a little drainage line somewhere around there. And there are plenty of drainage lines in that area too. What else would you like to see today, Sebastian? No elephants, unfortunately, but that's okay. We got a leopard. Any other animals you'd like to add to the list while we're feeling lucky? Anything. Anything you want. We'll magic it. We'll make it appear.
Let's see. We've been pretty spoiled this afternoon.
We have, right?
So whatever can surprise us.
Anything that can surprise us, I'm up for that too. Not too much surprise. An owl. That's a great request, actually, to see an owl. I think out of the owl species, I'd like to see a little barred owlet. I like them. They're quite nice. We actually have a good chance of spotting them because there's a couple of them that live around Cap. Or perhaps even a little Scops owl would be nice. But I also would not say no to a Verreaux's eagle owl, the largest species of owl that we see in this area. So I wouldn't mind either of them. Okay, so we're on Shibamo now, in case you're wondering. And we're eventually getting back to the last tracks, but I'm just going to pay very careful attention. Now, as we are driving about on this beautiful afternoon, I'd like to know from all of you that are watching, what nocturnal creatures would you like to see this evening? You can hashtag Safari Live with your requests, and I shall add them to the menu, and hopefully we get a random buffet of the various animals that you would like to see. I'm sure we'll find another chameleon. Should we be optimistic and say that we will be seeing a chameleon tonight? Bushbabies. It's another one. Well, but now I've been spoiled because I've had such an amazing bushbaby sighting here. I don't know what it will take to top mom carrying her infants around. We'll have to see. Alright. Now, John from Colorado, you're saying that you'd like to see the bushbabies too because your mom, who's in Texas, has never seen one before. Well, John, I'm going to try and make that happen for you this evening. We will whisper to the bushbabies, and hopefully they will hear your request and they'll jump out of a bush. But you've got to be watching, you've got to be paying attention for the bushbabies because they are quick and they are so nimble. When they move around in the trees, literally in a flash they could be gone. But hopefully that won't be the case tonight. So we're actually in a good area though. All these bush willows and things around sort of densely packed together. It's quite nice for the bush babies. Also a couple of marulas and knobthorns, and they often hollow out quite nicely, which is where they'll make their nests. They'll live inside little tree cavities. So good. Honey badger, honey badger, honey badger, honey badger. I kid you not. Where have you gone? Oh my gosh, I was just staring. There's the grass is moving. Here it goes. There's its, hang on. It's, oh, are you going to go left? Are you going to go right? There's a honey badger in there. Keep focused. Just there he is. He's still there. Straight behind the, is that him? Yes. He's straight behind the tree. Or is it just a reflection? Go up it. Go in there. No, he's not there. He was just behind there. There there was a honey badger right here. It's running off into the... Oh my goodness. I think it's just gone behind all of these trees. There's a slight animal pathway going through here. My goodness. We didn't even put honey badger out there. Anne, and you actually wanted to see a honey badger. And I'm so sorry that we couldn't put it on screen. It was so difficult. I literally saw it staring at me. And then it went, and I went, honey badger, and then it ran away. What a great evening. Maybe we can catch it. Let's quickly check here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to very quickly go around here. Megan, can we stay with me for 2 seconds? Because we're going to pop out on the road. Because this is Philemon's cut line, so we might get lucky. Are you ready, Sebastian? Sports mode activated. Let's check here. We might actually, so it was just here. This is actually, we might be in luck this evening. The roads are so close together. I hope it just didn't run across the road already. We're a little bit further. Just have a very quick look here. Now, you can't take chances with a honey badger. You've got to be on the mark. You've got to be ready, rearing to go. Where did you go, honey badger? Let's see if we can quickly hear the grass rustling. No. Honey badger got the best of us, but that's alright. I promise there was one. You're just going to have to take my word for it. However, Ali has got something that's not going to run away from you, and it's actually quite beautiful.
Very, very peaceful scenery that we've got over here. We are looking at the mighty, super mighty, if I can add, Mountain of Dragons. The Drakensberg escarpment. So you see, these are the mountains that are pretty much in all of that run, I would say, almost in a diagonal line all the way from Cape Town all the way up here. So it's a very, very long escarpment, and on top of that escarpment there, if you've ever heard of the panorama route, if you've ever come on safari, that's roughly the route that you take, just because it's so pretty looking down over here. And you can see, isn't this, I think this should be actually my cover photo. Just a good old vehicle, pretty sunset, and the mountains at the back. It is quite a peaceful spot. We're only just starting to hear, you know, there are a few dickups around there, maybe a few crickets. I'm sure the nightjars are going to start making a call, but just a very nice scenery to end a very, very action-packed day. I think things like this are always good for the soul. They always calm you down and make you think about pretty much everything and kind of ground you and put your feet back on the earth. I think it is stunning, and the little lights that we could see around there, in case you were wondering, those are the city lights. So onto our western side, that's where the wilderness area finishes, and you see all the way, all the streets over there. There's actually a main highway running down, but very, very far away from us. We're not really too bothered by humanity, and we're just enjoying a very pretty view. Obviously, they used to call it the Mountain of Dragons because back in the day, at the beginning, I would say maybe 1700s, 1600s, people actually believed that they were dragons living on top of the mountain. But what likely there was lions and leopards and all sorts of creatures, because everything the eye sees, that all used to be wilderness area. So back in the day, when the first inhabitants started coming onto this area to conquer and then just try and make it a bit more civil for humanity, not for wildlife, that's the area roughly where they started coming into. So it is very pretty. I think it's a good reminder of, you know, up to there, that's where we've got civilization, and then from there all the way over here, this all belongs to the wildlife. So we're gonna carry on. I think we've had a wonderful sunset today. Definitely very pretty. I'm very happy we came across this view and we could share it with you guys. And we've got spotlight out, and I believe Tayla showed you guys, or tried to show you guys rather, a honey badger. Very elusive little creatures. I love them. But I was actually thinking about porcupines today, so I'm really hoping we'll be able to see a porcupine. They're very pretty things, and they are so big. I mean, it's the largest African rodent. So with the quills, you can imagine, they're almost like the size of the bonnet. Very, very big. And I really hope we manage to to see one today. So I haven't seen one in ages. We find their quills quite often because they, you know, they become loose and then they drop them on the road and they carry on, but to actually find a porcupine is not that common. Or who knows, maybe some of the gracious bush babies that were jumping around yesterday evening will also come and say hello. I think this is a good area to carry on looking for porcupines, pangolins, and aardvarks, and pretty much any of the nocturnal creatures. Serval, caracal. What would you guys like to see this evening? While you guys send us your answers, let's go to Tayla and see if maybe she's managed to spot something else that hasn't run away.
I've decided to change it up now, Ali. I'm doing the rest of my safari in reverse. How do you feel about that, Sebastian? You're panicking a little bit.
Not yet.
Not yet. Right, the reason why I'm doing a backward safari is because I'm too lazy to drive off of the road and get a puncture. So I just thought we'd stick to the roads. Now, there were some birds shouting here. It did sound like fork-tailed drongos, though, and you know what a fork-tailed drongo is like. They do make quite a bit of noise, and I've also gone up and down 150 times looking for this honey badger, hoping to see it again. We're going to give it one last go. We're going to go about 50 meters down this road, and then we're going to turn back and we're going to take Rebecca's and we'll have a look. I know I promised you silhouettes of wildebeest, but this is just far too exciting to move out of this area. Now, what you're going to see, I'm going to get excited in just a moment because there's also a little duiker moving around here, just a bit further along, and I keep spotting its eyes going, honey badger! But it's obviously not the honey badger, it's a duiker. I told it to move along to stop getting me excited, but it hasn't decided to listen to me. It's very rude. Right. It's just checking, got my eagle eyes on. Yesterday we had so many carrots, so I should be able to see in the dark just about. Who needs infrared when you've been eating carrots? Amanda made us baby carrots, and then she also made us butternut and carrot mash, or sort of like squash all together. It was delicious, but I've never seen anything so orange in my entire life. You'd swear she'd added a whole lot of food colouring, but it wasn't. It's just because we just have lovely homegrown vegetables that we get from just down the road from the communities. So they're really, really good and rich in all sorts of vitamins and not hormone induced and all that sort of nonsense. So we're quite fortunate out here. Okay, so honey badger's gone. I promise we saw one. I'm so sorry you guys didn't get to have a look at it. I need to turn around now. Let's not fall into any holes. Let's go. Let's do this. Stop by the thorn trees and then turn around. Whoop. That was almost a hole. We might have to do 350 more turns before we actually get around. Let's try this again. Let's do the bush willow. Whee! Come on, Wendeline. You can do it. Okay. Now I promise we're not going to come back up this road again. That's me driving this road. Let's go to Rebecca's and see what's going on down there. Whee! Over all the bumps. Okay, so honey badger check. We could see it again though. Be quite happy if we could spot it again. Let's find those bush babies for John. And who else? What little feet on the road here. Tomorrow morning we must come back here and see if we can find this honey badgers. What's that? What are you? What are you? Oh, bird. See, now I'm just seeing eyes and I'm overreacting now. I'm getting way too excited. But there is I think it could be a neck jar, fiery. I'm just going to stop speaking for like 2 seconds until I calm myself down and I can actually make sentences. I think it was a fiery. What is wrong with me? What is that bird called? Fiery-necked nightjar. Oh, I'm not sure exactly what Ali's got, but I heard something about a porcupine. Whether it's the animal or not, I'm not sure. Let's go and find out.
Well, I have a lot of optimism that we're going to find something right now. Hopefully that porcupine that we were looking at, or maybe something even more rare. Anything would be quite fine. Oh, it would be quite cool if we managed to find a bat flying, wouldn't it? But for now, our search has been pretty empty. I think maybe all the nocturnal creatures are not quite on about yet. Aaron, if we find a serval, I would probably die of a heart attack of being so excited. Yes, I like that call. Let's maybe see if we can find a serval. I do think somebody saw a serval not too long ago, somewhere around here in the Sabi Sand, which I was very jealous about because I haven't managed to see the first serval in the Sabi Sand. I have seen them in Kruger, but you know, you always want to see them at home and where you work. So hopefully we'll be able to see one, or an African wildcat. I will also settle for that. But I think, like I said, I think having no expectations has worked out quite in our favor today. Maybe if I stay on the road, that would even... Oh, is that... I think... Hang on. Is that an owl? Or I think maybe it's nothing. No. I think I imagined it. It's just the branch of the tree. Sorry guys, I got very excited for a moment. Let's see. Holly, you'd like to know how many languages I speak. Well, I don't speak enough. I wish I could speak a lot more. So I grew up and I was born in Venezuela in South America, so we speak Spanish over there. So that's my main language. And then my family is part Italian, so I learned Italian at school. And then, well, clearly English I had to learn because, you know, maybe my subconscious knew that I was going to come to South Africa one day. And I can also speak French. It's a bit rusty at the moment, but, you know, the knowledge is still in there. And then I'm trying really, really hard to learn Shangaan.
Sorry about that, I don't know what happened to Ellie, but I can hear some birds shouting in here and I really want to go and investigate, so I'm going to go into low range. I'm not going walking at night, I refuse. Also, it's very dangerous and very silly. I'm just going to climb over this log. Excited about, but we're in the area now where we saw those female leopard tracks disappearing to. Don't be a puncture, please don't give us a puncture. Okay, I can still hear the birds shouting. I apologize if I don't look back and stare at all of you. I just need to, of course, focus on where I'm going and make sure that we don't break the car. And it is quite thick in here, and off-roading at night is not for the faint-hearted. Here they are. Where are you? Why are you shouting? What's going on in here? There's lots of birds going ballistic. Have a little listen very quickly. Can you hear that? In this drainage line. It's the drongos. I'm gonna go here, if I can turn Wendy with one hand. See how far we can poke our nose, and please don't be any big holes. Please. Please don't be any big stumps. So I don't know who could be moving around in here. I know there's a gap that we can actually look down because Tingana was once in here. We try and poke our nose here. We just stand up just to check. Anyway, I'm going to go into first gear. You ready? We're going under a branch now. It's just above my head. Okay. And we're just dropping the aerial. And we'll see how far down. Make sure we don't drive. Oh, I can go in here. We can go in, I think. We're going. You're just going to give it a bash anyway. Let's go into the drainage line and look around. Leopard, please. And now my stick that jumped into the car can go out because it's becoming a weapon. It's becoming quite dangerous now. There's a stump. What? We don't want the stump. We want to go in here. Over the stump we go. I think I've actually used this crossing before during the day. Right. Keep searching. Oh, so exciting. Okay, I'm going to do some concentrating and some serious maneuvering now, but Ellie has found her first chameleon this evening.
And quite a big chameleon indeed. I was expecting something smaller, but this guy is quite big, all tucked away towards the main stem of the branches of the tree. I'm sure he's feeling a bit cold. So you see there, he's all quite nicely tucked in. So we nearly drove past him, but thankfully Craig spotted the chameleon and we got super excited, and then all of a sudden, it was there. Luckily they don't move too fast and they don't run away like some of the smaller antelope do. And I believe his eyes are almost closed, it seemed earlier on, but he was moving them up and down. I'm sure there was a little moth flying around, so I wonder if perhaps that's what he was eyeing just to start its nightly routine. But doesn't he look very interesting looking creature? And you can see the two toes that are holding onto the branch, and then the tail just wrapped around the back, just holding onto the tree for dear life. Very good choice of color. You're definitely blending in well with the green, so I congratulate you, little one. This particular one that we're looking at is a flat-necked chameleon, very hard to spot, and they get the name because they have a flap of skin underneath their neck that they inflate when they're either trying to attract a mate or when they're feeling nervous. And normally the flap of skin is of a very bright color, normally stripes of orange and black, and they can look quite scary because they also start hissing if they get a bit upset. So it's not really an animal that you'd like to fight against, or if you get bitten by them, wouldn't be ideal. I was hissed at by one once, just trying to save it, trying to get it out of the road. He wasn't too impressed. Our blade, he doesn't have any red or orange on it at the moment. I think that's just part of the reflection from the spotlight. You see, this particular type of chameleon, or chameleons in general, they cannot go into all the colors of the rainbow. They can't turn purple or let's see, what another outrageous colors do we have here? Orange, or any of them. This particular species of chameleon can only mimic the colors or try to blend in with the colors in its environment. So often they will go of shades of, if it's very hot, they'll go to white colors just to try and reflect some of the sun. If if they're feeling a bit too angry, they'll go darker colors, dark brown, dark black, just black, or different shades of green, but they won't go into too many other different colors. I would love to if it were possible, just to put some flowers behind it and see if they could go and mimic the shape of the flower. However, that's a bit too optimistic. These guys, all they can do is they sit very still and then they change parts of their body into trying to blend in general with the area that they're in. And because they're mostly found on top of the trees, and though you can imagine that their favorite colors like the green, the brown, the lights, shades of this same colors, just to be able to hide away from any potential predator. I think now at night they're pretty safe. Not too much that would come and see and trying to get it from the tree. Painted wolf, yes, they normally the colors of trees, but that is valid for this particular type of chameleon in this particular area. In some other areas where different species of chameleon live in different environments, then they might have a bit of a wider range of colors that they can swap into. So in general, whatever colors they can find or they would naturally find in the environment that they live in, that's normally the colors that a chameleon can swap into. And all of this, normally they'll swap colors or they change colors, well, number one, for camouflage, as we're clearly seeing now, but also a lot of the times to regulate their body temperature, and it responds to some sort of stimulus that is in around them. So if they're getting very excited, if they're scared, or if they're under stress, they might swap into different colors. I think the ones that we get around here, the flap-necked chameleon, they are quite sober in their color choices. They just tend to be pretty much just natural shades, almost like, they have to come in safari, so they can only wear certain clothes just to stay away from everyone's eyes. Pretty little boy. Bob, if I can be completely honest with you, I didn't spot it. Craig did. We were just driving around, and sometimes what happens is the light will reflect differently. So if you're looking at the right branch at the right time, you'll see a bit of a different color. So it's almost like, I want to say a shine. Do you agree with me? Like a different shine. It's almost like it looks like a leaf, but something's not quite right, and then you can pick it up and you see almost like the shape of the animal and everything else. So in this case, I think Craig, with the height that he's got, he was lucky enough to spot it for us, which we're very happy about, because now that we're coming into winter, it'll be a lot harder to spot him. I mean, look at that. That's quite something. I would say actually that sometimes it's even harder to spot them during the day. Find it that sometimes we are a bit luckier with them at night, just because of this funny reflection, and that funny reflection is due to all the tiny little crystals and all the scales of their skin that they use to manipulate their color. But I think he's given us quite a show. He's been quite friendly, so we're gonna leave him and we're gonna carry on. While we do so, and I managed to put this car into gear, let's go to Tayla and see if she's managed to find any other creatures of the night.
We've got a Janet. I'm going to keep going back, just in there. You can see it. You might be, if you go into that dark corner, a little bit to the right. My spotlight just won't get in there. There is a little Janet in there. I actually smelt it first, then I stopped. Sebastian probably thought, what on earth is Tayla doing? And it just went a little bit further to the right. Let's see if I can go back. Maybe it's hiding just behind that tree. I thought I could see its spots, but it seems as though I cannot. We're on an absolute roll this evening. Now, the reason how I could smell it is because Janet urine smells exactly like leopard urine. I thought maybe we have a leopard here. So I thought I'd quickly stop and just check. And then I looked into the dark corner and there was a Janet just slinking away. Let me see if I can get a better view. Trying to work out what we can do here to see if we can see it again. They're very shy, all the critters of the night. They're not too fond of having a spotlight on them. Sometimes they get used to it. It's gone into the drainage. I think that's where it's gone. Let me just check these trees though very carefully. We might be lucky and get another view. Sorry, I'm using the spotlight like a madman. No. Oh man, oh man, oh man. This is where we need the winter months to come in now. And we'll see them a lot easier, I can promise you that. So we just need this grass to start disappearing. Now, and Umbamba girl, you're wanting to see a Janet? And I had one and I couldn't show it to you. I'm so sorry, they're just too quick for us this afternoon. But it was there, I promise you. It was there indeed. Let's see, maybe we get lucky on the way up towards the plains of quarantine. So we were just in Philemon's Dip. That's where that Janet was now this evening. My goodness, it's very, very active around here this evening. Philemon's Dip, Philemon's Cut Line, all these spots. Who's flying? Who was that? Somebody just flew across the road, but I'm not exactly entirely sure who it was or what it was. Don't think it was a bat though. I'm on scanning mode. I'm determined to find us a critter over the night, and one that's actually going to stay for long enough that we can see it and that I can prove to you, because at the moment, common daker, don't give me a heart attack like that little common daker just standing in the grass. But I'm not going to put the spotlight on the daker, especially once I realize what it is. And just because these lights are very harsh, you can see how bright the light actually is, and if you were to shine it into an animal's eyes that's predominantly diurnal, so that is more active during the day, it can cause serious disorientation, just as if you were to shine the light in your own eyes and you weren't used to bright light. You become quite dazed, and it's not fair on the diurnal animals, whereas the nocturnal critters have got a lot more light sensors in their eyes. They're actually able to utilize this light, and it doesn't bother them at all. But again, you can't shine it straight into their eyes. Bushbaby! There, can you see the eye shine? It's on the bush willow. Bushbaby, Bushbaby, Bushbaby. Can you see its eyes straight ahead? You might be able to just see the reflection. of the tapetum flash. Where are you? It's moving off to the left. Okay, stay like that, Sebastian. I'm going to go forward. So I'm going to start. It's going to shake a little bit. No, lights don't turn off. It's still there, so keep your eyes there. Keep your eyes there. It's going to jump. Now, I know we don't have much time left, but I'd really like, there it is. I'd really like to show you all a bush baby. There's one up, hang on, there's another better one up top there on the marula tree, top left. Where are you? It's in there. Oh no, we're running out of time. I hope that you've enjoyed the safari this afternoon. It's been so fantastic. I'm still going to try and show you this little guy. Maybe we get lucky. Please stay up in the tree. It has been fantastic, from leopards to honey badgers to spotted hyena, all the animals that you can think of. But I think we have been outsmarted by the animals. We'll see you tomorrow morning for the sunrise safari.